You should know that even though she may leave early, Palin will come prepared. Remember, she does read everything. Just don't ask her to give a speech about the Supreme Court.
What other Supreme Court decisions do you disagree with?
Well, let's see.
Time now to call in the columnist of The Village Voice, author of La Dolce Musto, Michael Musto. Good evening, Michael.
Hello, Keith.
The Palin sales pitch from this Washington Speakers Bureau. How did they leave out Maverick? These people are not even trying.
I know. I guess that goes without saying, sort of like giant douche nozzle. And I don't know, 4 eyes. What other label fits her? Forever 21?
Ooh. That last one is that's going to be trouble right there. Okay, sorry about that, all you 21-year-olds. If you were in charge of representing her, if something happened, then perhaps as compensation for what you just said, you have to do that as community service or something.
I'd rather go to hell.
Well, all right, but what would you pick as her biggest selling point? Well, how am I asking this?
That people might confuse her with Tina Fey and think that's who they're going to see. In fact, I think Sarah should go along with that, get a fake Emmy Award, pretend to be Tina Fey, and as people crack up over everything she says, she could just say, well, it's supposed to be funny, wink, wink.
Is part of the excitement of potentially booking her to speak at your wedding or your bar mitzvah is the whole guessing game of whether she'll actually show up because she has not shown up at a number of events this year? I mean, it sort of turns your event into this instant surprise party.
Oh, you're thinking of Liza Minnelli.
Okay.
With Sarah Palin lately, you rattled the cash. She is there. She needs that money to pay extra daycare for her out-of-wedlock grandchild and to help special needs adults, special needs children. The problem with her actually is that she's starting to show up and talk. She should learn from Liza. Stay home and just practice her arm gestures.
We learned this week that her first big paid speech a week from today in Hong Kong will be closed to the press, and it's to Chinese communist investors. What could possibly be wrong with that?
I think they wanted to close it to the press. Then they found out even in China the press doesn't care except for the Chinese Bureau of Mad Magazine. So it's basically just closed to the Chinese Bureau of Mad Magazine.
Some other political career shifts while we have you. Tom DeLay taking to the dance floor on Dancing with the Stars. He's been whining about being injured. He has a stress fracture. It turns out it's actually a pre-stress fracture. Pre-stress fracture would be a pre-existing condition. Is it not going to get him his insurance canceled?
Well, I think Obama's going to take care of that with his new health plan. I mean, believe it or not, part of the plan calls for, like, if former politicos go on a reality show and deal with pre-stress, it's covered. And don't say you like it. I'm truthing.
I'm sure you are. But were you ever an immigration lawyer? Also,
I'd rather do that than work for Sarah Palin.
Karl Rove, a guest appearance as a voice on Family Guy. And he has issued a statement in which he called the original script tasteless and the creator of the show mindless, and that the show needed him.
That's why I love it.
But is it possible to have lived the last decade and not realize that Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy were far more successful than the Bush administration, and certainly were drawn much more realistically?
Well, Carl's favorite show is Bugs Bunny, so he's not that plugged into the Family Guy world, and he's really going to wet himself when he finds out that little Stewie is gay and the dog drinks martinis. But I think his other offer lately was to do a kind of Brokeback Texas two-step with DeLay on Dancing with the Stars, and he had a whole bunch of pre-stress over that.
Yeah, I was going to say pre-stress indeed. The one and only Michael Musto. Great thanks as always, Michael.
Thank you.
And send your complaint letters to me. That's countdown for this, the 2,330th day since the previous president declared mission accomplished in Iraq. As Julia Child used to sign off, this is Keith Olbermann. Bon appetit. Save the liver. And now 1/3 of New Jersey Republicans believe Obama might be the Antichrist. To discuss whether, considering the source, he should be offended or complimented, ladies and gentlemen, here is the 14th most influential pundit in America, Rachel Maddow. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Keith. I'm still sort of hung up on the Brokeback Texas two-step, but
Michael will do that to you.
I might ask him to stick around to elaborate on that. Thank you very much, Keith. Appreciate it. And thank you for staying with us for the next hour.